I'm an RV tech, and I go undercover at dealerships to review RVs for quality. In today's review, I'm actually going to be looking at a used 2018 Keystone Avalanche. This is their 301RE floor plan. Part of what will be interesting in today's review is showing you how some of the inferior quality materials break down over time and why I score them low in my grading system. First, let's take a look at the type of water heater they chose. This is a Suburban brand tank type water heater. Suburban brand water heaters have a steel tank with a porcelain lining to it. Honestly, I think that tank type water heaters are going to be the best for boondocking. I scored this 10 out of 10 points. If you want to know more about what's going to be a good appliance for you in your camping style, go check out my free quiz on my website. Next, let's talk about the roofing choice. This has a typical membrane type roof, which I give 8 out of 10 points. They can last a really long time if they're well cared for. Beware of tree branches poking holes in them randomly, because that can cause unidentified leaks and wood rot, even if it's not dripping inside your RV. So you really need to have your RV roof inspected and resealed annually. For the air conditioners, they chose Coleman Mach. As a technician, I've had to replace a lot of these that lost their refrigerant before the 3-year mark, which is pretty short lifespan. I give 7 out of 10 points. Next, let's look at the refrigerator choice. This is actually a full residential 120 volt, not the 12 volt residential. This is very high quality. I give it 10 out of 10 points. Next, let's look at the quality of the cabinet materials. For the cabinet boxes and doors, we have very different types of materials. The doors are solid wood. The cabinet boxes, however, the face frames are just made out of lumber core, which has MDF layered on it and a vinyl wrap over the top to make it look pretty, like the wood. Lumber core is very susceptible to water damage, so while it's better than just straight up MDF, I still give it a lower score. I would give the cabinets on this RV a score of 8 out of 10 points. Next, let's look at the countertops on this RV, and I was really happy to see solid surface countertop. It's very durable, very resistant to water, will last you a very long time. Unfortunately, in the bathroom, they chose to put a really poor quality countertop, which is just particle board with Formica on it. If you look what's happening here, this is why I score particle board with laminate very low. Water has already gotten into this crack and started causing the material under the laminate to swell up and make a bigger crack. For the countertops, I give 5 out of 10 points. If you want to be able to tell the difference between high quality countertops that will last and the cheap imitation, you should check out my RV shopping course. My RV shopping course covers the quality of all the major components and includes a mobile web app you can use to grade RVs, just like I'm doing in today's review. Next, let's look at the slide-out system choice. The larger living room slide-outs have Liippard's through-frame slide mechanism with hydraulic actuators, and I actually take 2 points off for the hydraulic actuators. Because of this, if you look what's going on here, we've got oil leaking out into the underbelly and just drenching everything in oil. This is a very common problem for Liippard's hydraulic cylinders. These are expensive to replace and they're messy. They operate a little faster than an electric actuator, but electric is way more reliable. I hardly ever have to work on them. So this is a case where I don't think that the upgrade is really worth it in my opinion. I would much rather see electric than hydraulic. On the bedroom slide out, they actually have a Schwintek slide mechanism. Schwintek breaks a lot, folks. I give it 6 out of 10 points. Next, let's look at the frame and suspension. There ain't nothing fancy about this frame. There has been no attempt made to stabilize the axles against the I-beam. If you're just using the RV occasionally, this can work fine for many years, but if you're planning on doing some serious traveling, you're more seriously going to have some cracks develop. Liippard actually knows the solution to this. They actually have a document that specifies how to put reinforcements between the leaf spring hangers from axle to axle to stop left to right movement. This is very similar to the bolt-on aftermarket product from MoreRide called their X-Factor suspension brace. If you're going to buy an RV with this type of suspension, I would highly recommend getting that X-Factor brace or having a welder put in the Liippard fix to avoid frame cracking issues. And no, I'm not being sponsored by Liippard or MoreRide. I actually don't take any sponsorships on my channel to keep my reviews independent and unbiased. Also of note, this has a hydraulic leveling system. Again, one of those, quote, upgrades I'd rather not have as a technician. Case in point, these things are bleeding fluid all over the place. I saw a fifth wheel sitting in storage once, and the nose of it was all the way down on the ground. And without even getting close, I was like, that's hydraulic, and it's got a leak. Sure enough, I walked over there. That's exactly what was going on. The owner had disconnected from his truck, and then just sitting there, it sagged all the way down to the ground, bleeding fluid all over the place. A big issue for these hydraulic systems is if your batteries are low and you try to run the hydraulic pump, it can burn up the pump, which is very expensive and leave you stranded. So keep your batteries charged. Free tip. That's actually one of the tips on my 4-point Don't Get Stranded checklist, which you can get at undercoverrvshopper.com. Another issue I want to note on older Keystone frames like this is there's been a lot of issues with frame flex. If you're going to look seriously at buying a used RV like this Keystone Avalanche, I think it's very important that you have it measured for frame flex to see if the fifth wheel hitch area is moving excessively. Because this frame has zero attempt at reinforcing these spring hangers, I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 points. Next, let's talk about plumbing. Why am I talking about plumbing? If you're new here, you may be surprised to learn that many RVs are plumbed in a way that creates leaks. The good news is, on this Keystone, they actually put good plumbing everywhere. It's either hard PEX, or if they use a flexible tube, they use a pre-made flexible hose assembly that's not prone to leaks. At the end of this video, I'll link to my playlist about the plumbing topic so you can learn more about what bad plumbing looks like. In this case, it's a 10 out of 10 on the plumbing. Fit and finish wise, this RV was actually in good condition and I would give it 10 points. Total score for this RV is going to be an 83. Or a B grade RV. Now keep in mind, my grading system doesn't account for manufacturing defects, or in this case with a used RV, things that might be broken. This is only about the component selection. I think it's really important and well worth your money to hire a third-party RV inspector to come and check all the systems so that you know what is broken or not broken. On a used RV like this, it gives you negotiating power. On a new RV, it helps you shortcut the warranty process and get things that need to be taken care of under warranty done before you start paying a monthly note on it. You can find RV inspectors on my network that I work with at rigorrvinspection.com. Click here if you want to see me go undercover to review more fifth wheels. Click here for more information about the plumbing problem on RVs.